subscribe our channel. Stay till the end of the stories for more twist and turn. Comment us about what kind of stories you like to hear. Married for 8 years, new baby on the way but discovered cheating 5 years ago. Throwaway account while I assess my options as I'm not sure what to do here. My 29 male, wife, 28 female, and I have been married for 8 years, during which I've always had a full-time job and she's been a student. We have a 6-year-old child already and just a couple of weeks ago successfully got pregnant with our second child, which we've told our families about but not our friends. We are generally happy together. We've obviously had ups and downs like anyone, but now we do love each other. The first part of the very long story: a few years ago my wife was out with some friends and unexpectedly didn't come home while I was babysitting our infant. Her story at the time was that she had stayed at a friend's house, and I had no reason to doubt this because the friend in question had also been my friend since we were very young kids, so I kind of thought if anything had gone down then I know. At this time she had just about gotten over a bad bout of postnatal depression, which I supported her through as best I could, and I was overjoyed she was seeing her friends and had a hobby. I did ask her what had gone on and she said they'd just gone for more drinks, and I trusted her, so that was fine. A few months later she gave up on the boxing, but again nothing really seemed that unusual. I didn't think about it again for years. Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, I heard a comment from someone who only vaguely knows me saying that he, has no idea what his wife is up to, and then later referring to her as a serial adulteress. My wife was with me at the time and we both agreed it was bizarre because it seemed that way. This wasn't the only time I'd heard something along those lines, but I trusted her. The difference was that this was the most concrete statement I'd ever heard on it, and to me clearly merited discussion with her. After this chat with my wife, I thought I was fine, but my mind started to work overtime and I realized there have been a few incidents in years since the boxing night where she's not come home, which started to niggle at me. I have always asked questions the day after, but explanations have always seemed reasonable and usually backed up by friends. Also, I believe that I should take her word, and if I can't trust her then we probably shouldn't be together, so I've never asked to see her messages or anything like that. I'm in no way the jealous type, so even though I knew she was messages various people all the time, it really didn't bother me. For the last few weeks, my wife has been using my work phone for her Facebook and Messenger accounts. Today I logged into what I thought was my own Messenger account and realized straight away it wasn't, and was about to log off until I saw some weird unread messages from friends who were there on that boxing night that made me stop. I've never been interested in her messages before and I know I shouldn't have done it, but the overheard comments had got in my head, and after a couple of weeks of mulling it over I honestly felt like her friends around me knew something I didn't. I looked back and found 5-year-old messages between her and a guy from that night in question, and also messages from this guy's wife who has since divorced him, which confirmed something had happened between them, which she said was a mistake, but she liked him. They obviously liked each other, but their circumstances with their children wouldn't allow them to carry on. She told him he was a good guy and that she was sorry. Obviously this was a huge punch to the gut, and I felt devastated, as if I'd been an idiot to trust her all these years. I also felt a responsibility to look at myself and wonder what I'd done that drove her to that at the time. Since calming down I feel pretty terrible for having looked at her messages, and like I've also broken her trust now. She knows any sort of cheating is a deal breaker for me, and if it wasn't for our new baby being on the way I would be happy to confront her about it, and my feeling is that would probably end in separation. If I'd known about this in 2015 I would have certainly left her at the time and been able to single parent our one child. My dilemma now is that we are in the early stages of a second child on the way, and I feel it would be wrong to leave her at this stage when she and my kids need my support, as it's not either of the children's fault, and I know the older child would be absolutely devastated if I did this. This incident I have proof of happened more than 5 years ago now, and she's lied to me about it that whole time, which is what gets me the most. I now feel like there have probably been other incidents, and I don't know if I can get back to the level of trust I had, or even if I was right to give her the benefit of any doubt. I couldn't the kind of partner who demands to check her phone and things like that because I feel like that's pretty toxic behavior and I feel bad enough for checking up this time even though I turned out to be right. I worry confronting her about it might just make her better at hiding it. Now should we stay together? And I feel like I've probably been in denial of a number of red flags over the years. I haven't spoken to her yet but I can't let this go and I don't intend to. I also messaged the guy's ex-wife to ask her if she could fill in any details for me, which I'm not sure was the correct call because I shouldn't be dredging up something she probably doesn't want to talk about either, but it was my knee-jerk reaction. Now I'm not sure if I even want to know what went on any more than I already do. I'm pretty lost and I really don't know if I can regain the trust, and I feel like I've wasted 5 years of my life supporting a woman who now I don't think ever cared much for me. I want to take a few days before I confront her to see how my feelings develop. If I'd found out pre the pregnancy, there's no question I'd leave her and be done with it. To me, almost 10 years of trust have effectively broken down. I think I need to be honest when I confront her and own up to what I've done with the messages also, which I accept is part of the trust problem. My gut feeling now is telling me I need to be here for my new child when it comes, and I feel like if we split I'll be cut out of a lot of that, which isn't fair because I'm not the one who's caused this and I really don't know what to do or how to approach it. I really feel like if I make the wrong call here I will mess up mine and both my children's lives. Question for the sub: where do I go from here? TLDR, wife is pregnant with new baby. Discovered by reading her messages that she cheated on me 5 years ago and don't know what to do. I very much doubt it was only once and only with one guy. If you want to salvage anything, you need couples therapy. Her never coming clean about it is a strong sign there is nothing to salvage. My priority is undoubtedly the kids at this stage. I don't feel it's fair on them, which is probably the only thing I'd consider any sort of therapy. How we manage our relationship best for the kids. The relationship between me and my wife is secondary and I doubt I can trust her again at this stage, although it is very raw, hence taking a few days and writing a massive post on Reddit. Get a DNA test. The worst thing you can do is to let the kids grow up in an unhappy household. So if you can't get back to a trusting, loving relationship between you and your wife, which is possible with time and lots of therapy, it's best to divorce. 2 happy households is so much better for their development than one unhappy one. You say that you aren't saying anything because of the kids. I think you should know that a kid growing up with 2 happy parents who are together is best for the kids. Next best is 2 happy parents who aren't together. Way lower on the scale of what is best for kids is 2 unhappy parents who are still together. Happy parents is the only good solution. My mother was miserable in her marriage and did not leave because of wanting to stick around for the kids. It is a huge loss at the age of 24 to not have a mother anymore because she focused on us rather than her own happiness. And she not being happy would easily get emotional due to the smallest thing we did. We did not learn much discipline when she withdrew instead of correcting us. It's too late, the bomb had exploded. You can't de-explode it. Things will never be the same. She never really loved you and respected you the same way you respected her. First of all, someone out there calls her a serial adulteress. They said is up to, not was up to. Sounds like they think they know more than you. Second, she thinks she got away with her infidelities. How likely is it that she is emboldened by the belief she did not get caught? These are the reasons you need to get full disclosure. Question her with the implication that you already know dates and names, you just want her to admit it. Otherwise you will just get minimalization and trickle truth. Yeah, seems stupid now, but that's what made me click onto what's been multiple red flags over a few years. I didn't mention in the post, but the person who made those comments I think was just scattergunning comments hoping something hit, as he barely knows me and certainly doesn't know my wife. It's more than likely B was just trying to get under my skin, which he did successfully, although he's inadvertently done me a favor. I don't want to lie to her about any of it, and tbh my mind is more or less made up that the conclusion of this will be we are no longer together, but as you say, it would be nice to get the truth even if it is horrible. You are in for a tough ride, and I really admire that you are trying to get a perspective at the whole thing. If you want to give your marriage a chance, I believe that the issue must be opened. She really did break your trust, and she should come totally clear. For example, disclose anything that happened with this guy or anyone else, while knowing what consequences lying would have. If you want to have the chance to check the evidence, it's when the confrontation happens. It's not nice, but what she did was not nice too. This is just a consequence of her choices in the past. So decide if you want to check things yourself, messages, emails, make up your mind about that. Everything else, choose a good time and place, and talk with her. Now, confessing about everything is very hard. People have a tendency to trickle the truth. She should know that it is unacceptable for you too. I would recommend you to enact clear boundaries, but show support for her in opening up, as you do not want to make telling the truth any harder than it needs to be. If you want more information, I believe that Not Just Friends by Shirley Glass is really a good book about infidelity. It might help. The trust is gone, so it's just a matter of time for this relationship to be over. It's your choice, but I doubt it's a good idea bringing up kids in a toxic and resentful marriage. Thanks for listening so far. If story have update, we will post here. Like and subscribe to our channel for upcoming stories.